Hello everybody and welcome to today's Sunday sermon, which is the fifth Sunday in Ordinary Time. Today we have Job, who speaks to our hearts really. He's depressed. He has lost hope. And of course we know that he was healed of that eventually if you read the full book of Job. But today we have just that snippet whereby he has almost lost hope, at least. And you'd wonder why the church allowed such a reading. But then again, when you delve into the next reading, which is St. Paul to the Corinthians, and he speaks about preaching the gospel and that he has received his recompense. His consolation or his reward really is the privilege of preaching the gospel, which gives him great joy. If we are doing things that are really what we believe in and what we are serious about, and which is really expressing what we have in there in our hearts, then we are full of joy, and our reward is enough. The reward and the privilege of doing what we do. So this is Paul's attitude. In the gospel we see where Jesus heals people and the whole town is around the door, and he's driving out spirits, and he's getting rid of all those depressing thoughts that maybe we have from time to time. So the readings today can really speak nicely to us in the sense that they give us the confidence to trust in Jesus, who is really with us in all of this. St. Paul said, "I offer you the gospel free of charge. This is in fact my reward." The joy of doing that. So we know that when we help our fellow human beings in whatever way, even if it is just giving time to listen and to show respect and to salute in a respectful way and to make the person feel good, we feel good too. Therefore, you can understand what Paul meant, because the gospel was like that, telling people how good they are rather than showing people how good he was. And that is a very good point to make, that the gospel is all about lifting people up, like Job in the first reading, lifting them up out of depression, out of sadness, out of hopelessness, and giving them hope. Above all, showing them that they are special and that they have a right to be here and that they are not a mistake, as I've said last week. The most perfect act of love is unconditional love. We don't expect anything in return, even though we will receive our reward, especially in heaven, when we have done what God wants and his will and accepted everything in his way. That when you give, Jesus said it even, we receive. If I give, I receive. And I can be a great witness to that here working in Africa. What you receive is incredible. All of us may experience that in our acts of charity, acts of kindness, giving people encouragement, helping those who are mourning, bringing that love of God without even saying the word even gospel, or just be there and help people feel that they are important and that their story is very important. And you do it out of not expecting anything in return. Pope Francis wrote a beautiful encyclical called Evangelii Gaudium. And he said, goodness always tends to spread. Goodness is, the nature of something good is to be given away, to show, to give it out, to explain it to the world. And that's what the gospel is about. It's something that's so important to help everyone to feel good. It's not everything feelings, but it certainly does get us a long ways to have that sense of well-being, I should say maybe, about ourselves, which is the gospel. And woe to me if I don't give this to another person. We can, in our own way, be doing things for Jesus, for God, for our fellow human beings, and for God himself, to give him glory. Simple enough things which are practical ways of being evangelizers, as what this is about today. And I'll give you a few practical ways of exercising this. Someone says, I'm having surgery, and you respond and say, I will keep you and the surgical team in my prayers. There's an evangelical act. Promise to pray for him or her who's undergoing surgery, and who will also, and the team who will be operating on him or her. Teach your children the prayers. A lot of kids don't know the prayers these days. Maybe we can make an effort that they learn the prayers. Volunteer for soup kitchens, free meals for the poor and the homeless. Do acts of kindness like that. I know a lot of you do that. Share with a friend how God is at work in your life. Don't be afraid. With a friend, when you see the time is right, say, well, this is my experience. I'm not a holy Joe, but I believe in God's presence. I prayed and that problem was solved, or I felt that God was present when I knelt down to pray. Don't be afraid, maybe, not to overdo it and make people fed up of you, but try at least. This is an evangelical work. Create peaceful atmosphere at work. Be always the one to make peace. That's an evangelical thing to do as well. Go maybe improve on your knowledge of Catholicism by going to a lecture, something, maybe the history of the church. It would be very good to sort of increase your knowledge. Or maybe the whole liturgical year. It may be the Lord uses our sacrifices, our sufferings, to bring sinners back to the Lord. This is another evangelical way of looking at our sufferings and finding a meaning in them. I had a nun friend who died years ago, and she used to say that she got cancer in several places in her body. And she said, I offered it all up for my sins and the sins of the world, that people will turn back to God. What a wonderful and noble thing to do. I pray for you today and all of us, but one thing sure, God is with us. We put our trust in him and pray. Don't stop praying that it will improve the world, make it a kinder place, and especially a more equal place for everyone in this world. God bless you. Have a lovely day and a lovely week ahead.